See. A 61-year-old British diplomat jumped into a river in China to save a 24-year-old woman who fell in. This is interesting. It's interesting because in China, bad things happen to Chinese people and Chinese people do nothing. And I've seen several videos online. I've seen one video where a man was passing by and there was this little boy, probably about 4 years old, 3 years old, playing with a toy outside the store. And the man just started kicking the child, just like that. Beating, kicking the child. And it's only when probably his parents came out, he ran away. I can't imagine something like that happening here, you know? I mean, regardless of how anybody feels, nobody in his right mind is going to see some adult kicking a child and do nothing. And there were people passing by. You know, that's the point. There were people walking by in China. Then there was also the case where the little kid was in the street, was run over. Nobody stops. You just go on. And there's a Chinese guy, I forgot his name. He makes videos. He's from mainland China, but he lives in Taiwan. He married a Taiwanese woman. And he tried to give an explanation as to why Chinese people are like that. That I think in one of his videos was titled something about there are no good Samaritans or something like that in China, you know, like how we have good Samaritan laws here and so forth. That doesn't exist in China. People would sue. There are old people who would throw themselves in front vehicles passing to sue for money because they believe that they grew up during the Cultural Revolution when Chinese people were poor under Mao, when everybody was just about similar. Poverty, you work the land, but now you look around and you see all these other Chinese people with money, driving expensive cars, living in expensive homes, and so forth. So now they have to get some of that money. So if you're driving in China, it's best you drive with a camcorder on your dashboard, because somebody might throw himself or herself in front of you just to get money, just to be hit. So let's see here. A British diplomat dove into a river to rescue a woman from the water. 61-year-old Stephen Ellison, a British diplomat in China, rescued a 24-year-old student who was drowning in the river on Saturday morning. Outlets including the BBC and The Guardian reported. Ellison received praise for his actions after video of the incident was shared online. Let's see here. Let's go down to 61-year-old Stephen Ellison, who is the British Consul General of Chongqing in southwest China, dove into the water to rescue a 24-year-old student who was drowning in the river Saturday morning. Outlets including BBC and The Guardian report. The video shared by the British Embassy Beijing shows Ellison diving into the water, fully clothed, and reaching out for a life preserver with the woman. By the way, I saw him in the news. He said that was the end of his iPhone. His iPhone was in his pocket. So at least he saved the woman's life, even though his iPhone died. You know? So I guess iPhone, they need to do a better job, make the iPhone waterproof. It was a pretty evident quite quickly that she was in trouble. She couldn't swim, Allison told BBC News. You know, she went under the water, and when she came up, she was floating head down into the water. So there really wasn't a lot of time to do anything other than to get in. Allison received praise for his actions after video of the incident was shared online. Liu Xiaoming, the Chinese ambassador to the UK, retweeted the video from the British Embassy and said that his name will be remembered not only in Chongqing area but around China. His act of heroism and kindness will be a much told and far spread story of China UK friendship. Dominic Raab, UK Secretary of State for Foreign Commonwealth and Development Affairs and First Secretary of State, said in a tweet that he was very proud of Allison and that his bravery and commitment demonstrate the very best of British diplomats around the world. Let's see here. There's a video here. Let's see, maybe I can play the video. Okay. To play this video, I gotta shut my audio off and put this on.
哎呀，那手机都没丢，你看那。
哎呀，别跑偏了，抢票。
哎呀！
不要跑偏，全部抢过去了。
哎呀，我觉得。
不行，不要跑过来。过去呀，过去呀。
哎呀，那咱去拍照，转一下。哎呀，还是你那个老外。
让他过去啊，过去啊，过去啊。过去点，各位过去点哈。那边快上去。
哎呀，我还没搞你一个尸体，你看嘛。哎呀，
哎呀，我觉得那喊人了。没事的，没事，这是。
哎呀，我觉得还是这个老外啥之类的嘛。哎呀，我真的有些真的是。哎呀，我觉得今天那个年轻人在今年我怎么跳下去？啊！这个年轻人，
Okay, so there you go. Now, from what I've heard, that British diplomat, I think he was just assigned there. Can you imagine if he wasn't even in that area? He just luckily for her, he just happens to be in the area and passing by, and apparently he had recently been transferred there. You see all those people in the video standing around, but nobody would jump in there to help that girl. That's how China is, you know. In China, they do a lot of talking. The foreign ministry, they do a lot of talking and criticizing and so forth. But when it comes to being a good Samaritan, don't expect that in China. It's amazing. Also, I remember there was a video, but it was one where they're acting out like three guys. They put on like the stage a performance, like they were beating up this girl. Right, three guys, two or three guys, and this was like on the sidewalk. And people were just passing, looking. They stopped, they looked, and kept on going. You know, I can't imagine where I live, where you see guys beating up a young lady in the sidewalk, and men just pass by and not even say, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know, or stop and say, or even if you think you can't fight with them, at least say, "Hey, I'm going to call the police." Nothing. These people just stood, looked at the girl like she was being beaten up, and they kept on going. You know, so that in a way, I guess, it gives the image that Chinese people come across as heartless. They don't really care. You know, for whatever reason. It's like save yourself first. That's that's what it comes down to. I forgot that guy's name, but he gave the reason. He said why there's no good Samaritans in China. You know, they don't have any similar law, and nobody is expected to help anybody in China. You know, but this was a real incident. From what I heard, the girl even invited him to dinner, to have dinner with her, the student, the 24-year-old student, because when he got to her, she had swallowed so much water, she wasn't even breathing. And it's a lucky thing he got to her in time, and they were, get that water out, and she started breathing again. But she would have been dead. You see all these Chinese people standing around on the bank, and nothing. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody's jumping in. Nobody's saying, it gives you the impression that Chinese people don't know how to swim, which I seriously doubt. I think Chinese people do know how to swim. Some of them. At least one Chinese person knows how to swim. Because I see them in there's the sea in China. They go to the beaches in China. One guy did a video where he went to the beach in China. Lots of Chinese people in water. So, but that's just the culture, unfortunately.